1. Conventions of standard English usage. Verb agreement. Prepositional phrase. Memedicine. Antidote your ignorance. Verbs. Prepositional phrases. Prepositions are small words like of, in, or is not an actual preposition. I'm just saying or, on, that show the relationship between two words, usually two nouns. In the phrase, the dog in the yard, the word in is a preposition, and the yard is its object. The phrase, in the yard, is a prepositional phrase. It describes or modifies the dog. The subject cannot be the object of a preposition. For example, the Queen of England is rich. The phrase of England is a prepositional phrase. Of is a preposition, and England is its object. A coarse sentence can be split by interrupting clauses led by prepositions. The phrase of England describes the queen. It tells us which queen we're talking about. The queen is the subject of the verb is, not England. She's the one who's rich. Strictly speaking, the entire phrase, the Queen of England, is the subject of the verb is. But the verb only has to agree with the core noun. And remember, a core sentence is a simple statement composed of the subject and the verb of the statement. Also remember that the subject or core noun is a noun that identifies who performs the action of the verb. So the verb only has to agree with the core noun that the prepositional phrase is describing. Since the queen is the core noun, that's all we care about. It agrees with the main verb. One more thing, of is by far the most common preposition on verb agreement questions on the ACT. The subject of the verb or verb phrase will be before of, not after. Prepositional phrases are not part of the core sentence. If you see a prepositional phrase on a verb agreement question, cross it out. The subject cannot be in there. Let's take a look at a few sentences with interrupting prepositional phrases. The dogs in the yard are barking. The man with 3 children is married. All flights to Denver have been delayed. The movie about vampires is scary. So let's go through each sentence sequentially, first crossing out the prepositional phrase and then isolating the core sentence, which consists of the subject of the verb and the main verb. So in the yard is our prepositional phrase in our first sentence. The preposition in is describing the relationship between the dogs and the yard. Our subject is obviously not going to be contained in the prepositional phrase. What we've done is we've isolated our core sentence. The dogs are barking. Preposition here is with. It explains the relationship between the man and his 3 children. Our prepositional phrase is with 3 children. It doesn't affect the core sentence. We're crossing it out. Thus, we've isolated the subject of the verb, the man, and the verb phrase is married. So the man is married is our core sentence. It has not changed one bit now that we've gotten rid of our prepositional phrase with 3 children. To is our preposition. It describes the relationship between all flights and Denver. It just lets you know where the flights are headed. Therefore, we can cross out our prepositional phrase to Denver. Recall that the object of the preposition usually is after it. So Denver is a noun that happens to be the object of the preposition to. It makes up a half of our prepositional phrase. Our core sentence will start with the subject of the verb. All flights have been delayed. I kind of jumped the gun here. About is our preposition. It describes the relationship between the movie and vampires. It just tells the topic of the movie, so we can get rid of the prepositional phrase about vampires because it's not going to change the meaning of our core sentence. Half of our core sentence consists in the subject of the verb, the movie, and our verb phrase is scary. There you have it. So this is how you would kind of tackle your verb agreement questions on the actual ACT. If you're trying to eliminate agreement as being the issue, this is how you could definitely attack it if you were to see any prepositional phrases interrupting core sentences. Of course, there may not be just one prepositional phrase. There could be a string of them. Let's take a look at this example. The construction of several groups of townhouses across the street from the complex of office buildings have improved the neighborhood. Let's dissect this as if we're samurais and narrow down our core sentence. We're treating this, again, you know the drill, as if it were a real ACT verb agreement question. So the first thing that we can ask ourselves is, what improved the neighborhood? Because we know that our verb phrase here is have improved. Identify all our prepositional phrases by first highlighting the leading prepositions. So we want to know exactly what have improved the neighborhood. Is it going to be the groups? Is it going to be the townhouses? It's kind of getting a little tricky and confusing. The first preposition that we see is of. Again, it's the most common one that you'll encounter on the ACT. Therefore, our first prepositional phrase is of several groups. Our second prepositional phrase is going to be of townhouses, led by the preposition of. Our next preposition is across. Therefore, our third prepositional phrase is across the street. Our fourth preposition is from. Therefore, our fourth prepositional phrase is from the complex. And finally, our last preposition is going to be of again. Therefore, our last prepositional phrase is of office buildings. All right, now that we've identified our prepositional phrases, let's go ahead and cross them out. All right, now that we've narrowed things down a bit, we can see that our core sentence is going to be, the construction have improved the neighborhood. Obviously, the subject and the verb do not agree. The construction is going to be singular, while the auxiliary verb have is plural. So this is definitely not it. You can see how this sentence tried to fool you. The actual subject of the construction is singular, but there are several plural words after it in all those prepositional phrases that we saw. So the plural verb have sounded okay. Don't be fooled. The corrected core sentence is going to be, the construction has improved the neighborhood.